Good morning, boys and girls. Today is April 16th, 2020. Something special about today. On April 16th, a long time ago, when the first package of stamps was sold. No longer did you have to buy one stamp, but you could buy a whole pack. So to remember that today, my good friend Geary is going to read a story called The Mailman's Hat. I hope you enjoy the story, and remember, if you know anybody that's a mailman, you could tell them, "Hi, I know one person who has their dad's a mailman, and I bet he does a great job." Bye! Oh.
The Mailman's Hat. Mr. Smith was a mailman, and he wore a mailman's hat. He carried a pouch full of letters for the people on Due Melon Way. He also had a whistle that he would blow at every stop. When the whistle blew, people would come out of their homes to see if there was mail in their boxes. But there was one house where the whistle didn't blow. A dog named Duffy lived there. Duffy loved to bark and bite. Each day, Mr. Smith would tiptoe up the walk to the house where Duffy napped. Trying not to make a sound, he would put the mail in the box. Duffy was a very light sleeper. He would wake with a bark and a snap. Then he would chase Mr. Smith off the porch and down the block. Every day, rain or shine, Mr. Smith would bring the mail to Due Melon Way, and every day he would get chased by Duffy. That is, until one gusty day in March. The wind was blowing very hard that morning. Mr. Smith's hat flew off his head and into the air like a kite. His hat landed right on top of Duffy's dish. Duffy jumped up from a sound sleep, barking at the noise. Mr. Smith was sure that Duffy would chew his hat to shreds and that he would be a mailman without a hat, but he had an idea. When Mr. Smith came to the porch, Duffy was waiting. He had the mailman's hat in his mouth. Mr. Smith reached into the pouch for the mail, but what he pulled out was a dog biscuit. Duffy didn't shred the mailman's hat or bark at Mr. Smith. Instead, he dropped the hat at Mr. Smith's feet, sat quietly, and waited for his treat. From that day forward, Mr. Smith brought more than just the mail to Due Melon Way. He brought a biscuit for his friend, Duffy, who wagged his tail whenever the mail whistle blew.